A tale of two motor cities for GM today. The stock is plummeting while its sales figures continue to rise. The auto giant still plagued by ongoing recall issues, falling short of Wall Street expectations last quarter, and more problems laying in wait for GM, with $400 million slated to go to the victims of its faulty ignition switch. With me now, our very own Charlie Gasparino and Tracy Burns. We have New Oak president with us, James Frischling, as well. James, I'll let you go first on GM. What did you think of all this news?
The brand loyalty, the customer loyalty, the brand resilience, I think, is amazing, because the fact is, despite 44 recalls stemming from 50 crashes and 13 deaths,
don't you think it just hasn't caught up yet?
I almost feel the consumer no longer cares, or maybe they become numb to these things. I think about a time when Audi had one slippage, and it actually wasn't their fault, and the company almost collapsed as a result of it. Yeah. Now we have these types of things going on, and the sales are up.
What do you think?
I got my Saturn Ion recalled recently, but it was destroyed.
You drive a Saturn Ion?
I used to.
Does anyone else find that really hard to believe?
I used to.
You don't feel like a Saturn Ion.
I'm not a big car guy.
You're like a Mustang guy.
I'm a big car. I'm not a big car guy. CNBC gave me money for a car.
Unfamiliar with that.
And I just bought it for whatever money they gave me. I bought the cheapest car possible. But I would say this: the car was first destroyed by Hurricane.
Cheap, so that makes sense.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. The car was destroyed by Hurricane Sandy. That's my little disclosure statement. Listen, I will say this: I know for a fact the board of GM is lawyering up. Why would a board of directors lawyer up, aside from the sort of obvious stuff that you have to have lawyers when something like this is going on? I think this is going to be worse than a lot of people think. I think there's a lot more money and a lot more potential legal ramifications.
Speaking of embattled companies, embattled retailer American Apparel shacking up with some new board members, adding RadioShack CEO Joe Magnek, I don't know, I can't understand that pronouncer, to
Just
the
call
mix.
him Joe.
Yeah. Along with the first female board member, I think that is, Colleen Brown. Tracy, what do you think of this one?
I think they got to do something. I don't know at this point, and I'm not sure going to RadioShack is the right place, but apparently he's unemployed, so he's got stuff to do.
Is he or she? Is it Joe?
Joe Magnaca, it looks like, from this.
Oh.
The RadioShack CEO. I mean, I don't know. It's not like RadioShack has been really hitting it out of the park.
I mean, Chapter 11 they're in bankruptcy.
Yes. I don't think they're quite in it. They've been mentioned as a candidate board. They've been trading for under $1 for several months.
So they're a penny stock.
Pretty much.
They are 82 cents. There we go.
I'm not sure why you knock on that door.
I don't know.
Maybe they know something we don't.
Maybe, James, what do you think?
You know, Standard stepped in here really to knock out, to replace Lion Capital, who, this thing would have collapsed completely had Lion's call. It would have forced other early redemptions of some debt. So it's the golden rule. Whoever has the gold rules, Standard stepped in. This is the board they want. Let's see what they can do with this thing.
Yeah. I mean, they added a woman. Tracy, does that make you feel better?
Yeah, no, that's lame. Like, I mean, God willing, they added her because she's smart and she deserves to be there, not
people like their products. I mean, it is just sort of a question of management, no?
You
love their products?
We love. I
know you wanted to get that in, so I was teeing you up for that.
I appreciate it. We love their products, and we just hope this company continues to survive. They make great stuff.
I mean, maybe the woman on the board will rein in him too, and the way they do things.
I don't know.
They still have an ousted. They still have an ousted
I think he's
CEO
out of there, so there's nothing
with
to rein.
43% of the company, so he's not going to go quietly.
Right.
Billionaire Carlos Slim getting slammed by none other than Mark Andreessen, the Netscape co-founder, tweeting about Slim's call for a 3-day work week, saying, quote, "Regarding Carlos Slim's big idea, I would like all my competitors to work 3 days a week so I can work 5 or 6 or 7 days a week and kick their butts." What do you think? He also said that every billionaire suffers from the same problem. Nobody around them ever says, "That's a stupid idea."
You know, listen, I've butted heads with Mark Andreessen, but that's a really smart comment. Think about billionaires. I mean, when these moguls, no one, you know, it's interesting. PR people will allow people like Bill Ackman to go out and just light themselves on fire. Slim's comment.
So you're talking about people saying too much on Twitter and that nobody reins them in and tries to control them, Charlie Gasparino? Is that what you're talking about? Or no?
Here's what I will say.
Okay,
I will say this. Carlos Slim's idea of a 3-day work week is almost as dumb as saying Vladimir Putin should be given the benefit of the doubt. I just want that on record.
But I mean, by the same token, no one ever reins in Mark Andreessen's tweeting. I mean, he's talking about how nobody, controls billionaires, but then
he's not a billionaire.
That's a good tweeter.
Is he a billionaire? He's just a multi-million.
I don't know. I mean,
he's delineating between millionaires and billionaires.
Why do we care? A little free speech. Go, let them do what they want.
Okay.
Well, we're talking about it, right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Some employees getting more bang for their buck by working for Starbucks. This is according to the Bureau for National Economic Research. Starbucks cashiers earn slightly more than their peers at Walmart. But when it comes to the managerial posts, Walmart salaries almost double their coffee counterparts. So this is pretty amazing to me that a store manager at Walmart makes on average $92,462 versus Starbucks $44,632. To be fair,
okay,
a Walmart is obviously exponentially bigger than a Starbucks. So
and I will say this: when I tweeted this out today, it started a whole discussion. I mean, people pointing out that a lot of people pointed out that Walmart employees don't make as much money as Starbucks employees. That maybe management does very well there, but not the rank and file that they get hosed.
Well, the cashier makes $848. A Starbucks barista makes on average $880. So there's that. I didn't know the average U.S. Cashier makes $11.22, according to the Census Bureau.
Yeah, I mean,
that's way above minimum wage. What do you think?
I think we should stop demonizing Walmart. Walmart does a lot of good for a lot of people, and
by keeping prices down.
I was going to say sells cheap vegetables.
You know, all those hipster journalists that chime in and say how bad Walmart is. What's for Walmart? They wouldn't be able to afford to eat.
I thought
they don't make any money
for Walmart. The big box stores, despite all the criticism they get, consumers are benefiting, as we said, from the cheaper products. And by the way, there is a career path. It's not easy, but they are paying better than other retailers.
Okay. President Obama may be ready to go it alone on drones. Political reports that the president plans to take executive action on privacy guidelines for commercial drones. Just so we need another executive order. Perfect. James.
You know, technology leads, and then etiquette and guidelines and everything else follows. So I'm still trying to figure out what's the etiquette of a cell phone. Now we're up to drones already. The fact is, privacy, for all intents and purposes, is dead. So now they want to put etiquette and rules around the drone. I wish them good luck with that.
I think the onus is on all of us to just look good naked, because there are cameras everywhere, there are drones everywhere.
I mean, think about
it's inevitable. You can't protect yourself. Go ahead, Charlie.
That's usually something that would come out of my mouth. How did that happen?
I was trying to shock you, and I'm not sure it worked.
My perversity affecting you?
But think of the upshot. I mean, you're out. You ran out of wine on Friday night. The drone brings it right in. I mean, there's a lot of potential to this too.
Sounds very dangerous.
You could be naked.
And you could be naked and get your wine.
All right.
Roll credits.
Southwest might want to get away after their latest publicity nightmare. A father of two reports that he and his kids were kicked off a flight after an unflattering comment about the airline service. Okay, so supposedly he sent out a tweet, and Charlie, you may need to address this because you've been known to send out an inflammatory tweet or two.
One or two.
Basically said that the agent wouldn't let him. He had earned the right to get on the plane early. This is according to the Daily News.
I don't believe this story.
He had earned the right to get on early. But he was with his kids. They wouldn't let him on early with his kids.
Who is this guy?
Southwest, it's like, he's just a regular guy. He's this guy. See? He's this guy.
I don't believe that Southwest
He's a normal guy.
Airlines is maybe as great of a company. Is it a good company? I have no idea. It's a decent company. As a great, that they have the customer service to monitor all these tweets about.
Well, that's what I wondered. Okay, so let me finish the story. So he tweeted out her name and that he was unhappy that he hadn't been allowed to board. He was already seated with his family and he was buckled in. And he says they came over the loudspeaker and told him to get off, that he was a security threat, and that he had to delete the tweet or he wouldn't be allowed back on.
Either he threatened in the tweet, or the
tweet's down, so it's very hard to know what it said. But he said, wow, rudest agent in Denver, her name. The gate it was, not happy at Southwest Air.
Yeah, but if that's all he said, I can't believe it.
Have you ever been thrown off a plane for your tweets?
No,
I don't. Been thrown out of a restaurant?
No, I got thrown out of Sun Valley. That's about it.
Well, that
Don't
counts.
you think that happens like every day? Like someone sends a nasty tweet.
And how would they know that?
And how did they find it so quickly?
He must have had some.
You think there's more to this story? Charlie thinks there's more to the story. James, do you think it's good customer service to be monitoring the Twitter this closely?
You know, we were just talking about guidelines and etiquette. What is Southwest training program? How does a flight attendant or an agent respond to a negative tweet? I guess we had to look into that.
I don't know.
But that's not so bad.
Well, I don't know. You're right. There's probably more to this story. All right. Like a dream